Shipped by February 2nd. What the hell? I mean, there's not much else that you can say here. I mean,
I want to play old Pokemon games. Yes, I know they're for the DS, so they're not considered that old, but I mean, come on, it's been nearly 20 years. I have all my childhood copies, so why don't I just play over them? Well, I don't want to lose my childhood save file. And instead of spending ludicrous amounts of money on a small cartridge, I did the next best thing. I spent $300 on a 3DS from Japan. Now, Mateo, why would you spend that much money on a 3DS? It's 2026. Well, with the power of illegally modifying your system, allegedly, you're able to back up your save files, put them somewhere else, and then write in new ones. Those official Pokemon applications can still work. Look, I'm not showing these off to flex. I'm showing them because I don't want to buy new ones. I don't need more than one of these. God forbid I get confused what save file is on which one. What, you think I should label them? You want me to label them with a piece of tape or a piece of paper like an insane person? Now, I went the extra mile. I shipped my 3DS from Japan. Reason being, all their colors are just so much better than ours. And so, what does all this mean for you and myself? I'm delving on a journey to see how easy it is to mod. Now, if you're anywhere near the gaming community like myself, you've probably heard that it's pretty easy to mod your 3DS. I want to find out, how easy is it really?
Oh! Oh! Tariffs! Yes!
and there she is, chat. I flipped it so I don't dox myself, but that's it right there. That's okay. That's safe. Yeah, that's it right there. That's 3DS sized. It sure is.
And here we go. Ah! And voila! Look at her in all of her glorious bubble wrap glory.
Chat, do we think it has battery? Let's find out.
Ooh! What the hell? These buttons are really clicky. Take a listen.
Now, it's a new day. I've had some time to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on my new 3DS. Now, here's the thing. Nintendo, they've been odd forever. People have been dogging Nintendo recently for like being really restrictive and things like that, but the truth is, they've always kind of been like this.
Let's do a game test really quick. I have Pokemon Sun right here, inserting it. And yeah! Oh, I pushed A. Don't worry, nothing bad happened. Chat, I'm already getting this screen mad dirty. What just happened? The SD card was removed. Oh. Well, lucky for me, unlike a teenager having sex for the first time, I came prepared.
Basically, if your SD card is not formatted to the correct style, it's not going to work. And that especially holds true for SD cards that are larger than 32 gigabytes, like the one that I got myself. Not only that, but if you're rocking an SD card that is SDXC, which is a higher quality than SDHC, you're going to have an even harder time. But it's still very possible to make it work, like I have. Now, me personally, I work on a MacBook. What that means is I have the power to natively format my SD cards to different styles. And the one that I have found that works for me here is the MS-DOS. If you're familiar with storage formatting, you'll know that MS-DOS isn't the most stable thing in the world, but that's why you use it, is so that you can use it between platforms, like the 3DS. MS-DOS is compatible for what I need today. It works, and I'm not going to really be taking the SD card out too much, at least I hope. So let's get down to it. So now that the 3DS is working and playing games and saving games, I need to mod it. Now, I got a Japanese 3DS, and the thing with a lot of old Nintendo consoles and consoles in general is that they're region locked. Luckily for me, My 3DS already came with Luma pre-installed, so I don't have to worry about the region lock. Thank you, eBay seller. However, while it is region unlocked, I need to be able to back up my save files to play Pokemon. And so the question is, where do you start? Now, luckily for me, one of the people that I work with is a big nerd, and when I told him about my recent purchase of the 3DS, he pointed me towards a website called 3DS Hacks Guide. Reading through it now, it'll help you install custom firmware, and it looks like that Japanese eBay seller was already probably on here, considering that Luma 3DS is already on my 3DS. Yeah, take a shot every time I say 3DS in this video. See if you make it longer than the Wolf of Wall Street. All of these things look amazing. I would love home menu customization. As a matter of fact, this reminds me of this one time I was in band class and somebody brought in their modded 3DS and opened it up. And lo and behold, the John Cena theme song started playing. I was traumatized. So to be able to do something like that, I think that'd be sick. Because I love John Cena. What can I say? Now, this is really what I'm looking for. Save data, editing, backup, and restore. I want to be able to play my old Pokemon games on new save files without spending money. Installing physical cartridges for digital use as well is pretty cool. I'd like that because I have a lot of physical 3DS games. All right, so looking at this checking for CFW menu that stands for custom firmware, and chances are if you're buying a Japanese 3DS, kind of like myself, you'll need to go through a similar process that I am right now. If you're going to mod your own childhood 3DS, I recommend that you read through the other steps of information that are on the website because they are very clearly laid out with the necessary steps to proceed. Right here, the instructions say power off your console, done, hold the select button, done, and then power on your console while still holding the select button, done. And there is Luma 3DS. I love how clearly laid out this is. 8.0 or greater, continue to here. So we're going to be going to 8.0 or greater because currently I'm rocking a Luma version of 12 at the very least. So we open up Luma 3DS. We're going to go there. And now I need to insert the SD card into the computer. So we're going to power this back off. And we're going to get this SD card out of here. I'm coming for you. So we're going to load the SD card into the computer. Like so. So right here in my downloads folder, I have the unzipped version of Luma 3DS version 13. We're going to copy everything from here into the root level of my SD card. The root level just means when you open the SD card, the first thing that you see. We are now going to eject this safely. Bada boom. We're going to put it back into the 3DS. Now, what I'm interested in is finalizing the setup. I want a homebrew on this thing. That way I can actually back up my games. So now that the latest version of Luma is on the 3DS, we are going to turn the console off and get the SD card back out. I love micro SD card readers. They're my favorite thing in the world because I'll see one of these and think it's a real SD card and then be upset that it's not. Now, reinserting the SD card, we see that we have a new folder that popped up, and that's the Luma folder. Now, you can see in the downloads folder, which is on the bottom this time around, I have the xfinalizehelper.firm as well as the finalize.romfs. What these things are, I couldn't tell you. I skipped a step. I need to copy this finalize romfs thing into the SD card. Beautiful. And now let's transfer the helper.firm into the payloads folder. And that should be good. We're not going to put the back on quite yet. I just want to make sure that I don't need to take it out again. But turning on the 3DS. And now we need a RTC and DSP setup. DSP, the only DSP that I know is... left shoulder, D-pad down, and select. Oh my god! This is the Rosalina menu. Oh, I gotta show this off. So pushing those buttons together on the bottom screen, I'm on the home menu right now, it opens up this little thing at the bottom. Now I need to set up the script, whatever that means. So in this section, we're gonna be setting up scripts to install a homebrew menu. I'm kind of scared, to be quite frank. So this is the Rosalina menu where I did all those fancy things. Those are on the bottom screen. I think you can pull this up at any time, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So, finalizing the setup, I need to turn the 3DS off, which I did. Now, I need to hold X, and while holding X, I need to power on the console. I feel like a hacker here, chat. Finalizing setup helper script. What the hell is this? God mode 9? Right now, we're looking at the root level of the 3DS system. At the top level, we have our SD card. And then following that, we have a bunch of other options that are also taking up space. Finalize. What the hell is happening? There's a lot of things happening. I feel like a hacker. Install base homebrew applications. Copy God mode 9 to a bunch of stuff. And this script may take up to 15 minutes to complete. That's it. If you're okay with this, press A to continue. To be quite frank, I don't know if I have 15 minutes on hand. We're going to do it. Up, left, up, right, A. It's doing stuff, chat. It's doing stuff. It's doing stuff. Setup complete! Yes! Remember to back up the contents of SD GM9 backups to somewhere safe. Let's do that. And that's it. Custom firmware is now fully configured on my console. What does that mean? Well, the website has a little section as to what you can do with your newly modded device. Let's go explore the wiki. Now, I am interested in dumping titles and game cartridges. We are going to open this. I don't want to translate it. So it seems as though this is only for 3DS games. If you want to play like Pokemon Omega Ruby or Sun, Moon, Ultra Moon, this is the page that you need to follow. I want to play DS games, and what that means for me is I need to go a little bit of a separate route. After reading a little bit on here, I can dump my Nintendo DS games onto the SD card and then run them using a homebrew app. Now, we installed custom firmware. I didn't install a homebrewing app. Now that I've finished custom firmware installations on my 3DS, you can see I have a bunch of gifts here waiting for me. Opening them up one by one, I got FBI, which I was about to try installing, but that came already on here. Universal Team. I already got Universal Updater on here. That is beautiful. We have Anemone 3DS Manager, which is amazing. We have Checkpoint Save Manager. We'll probably be playing around with that a little bit. And then we have the Homebrew Launcher, the Gold Mine. To back up our DS game into our SD card, we need to first of all open up Universal Updater, which I am doing now. We are looking for Twilight Menu++. That's over here in the top right. We want to push A on that. Chat, there is a furry on here. Chat, what is happening right now? Oh my god, I am running a DSi on my 3DS. So I think I want to run save dumper/injector. That looks correct. Going through this application, I have managed to not only dump the ROM onto the SD card, I also now have the ability to restore it. Now, I think I backed up the save file. I called it 26.1.19 to signify the date of the Pokemon White 2 save. Now, if I go to the home menu and I load up the game and I start a new file and I save, I wonder if I would be able to dump that old save back in. We're going to find this out right now. I'm not sure I need to start a new game right now. Right now, we're at Flockacy Ranch. We're going to walk up a handful of tiles. Oh, okay. We got a Paralyze heal from Hugh right here. We moved over here to a different patch of grass. We're going to save the game really quick. And so now, if I load back up into the Twilight menu and I go to the save data restore backup thingy, cartridge not read properly. Please reinsert it. Suck my freaking ball sack. I don't believe you. So we're going to press A to dump the save. We're going to press X to write a new name for the save file. And we're going to call this test. Press A to dump the save from your cartridge. Press B to restore it. B to restore it. And now we're going to manually choose. And you can see right here on the bottom screen, we have two different saves. So we're going to select 26.1.19 save. Save file on the cartridge has to be cleared. Press A to continue. Deleting the previous save file. Here we go. Save file loaded. Press A to write it into the cartridge. A. There's a hashtag. They're moving. They're moving. The hashtags are moving. The hashtags are moving. There's 3 right now. While this is going, I do have to be honest. I did look up what dumping means, and I came across a Reddit post asking the same question. So I guess I'm not that stupid. Save file successfully written. Press A to continue. We're going to close this back out. Right? We're going back to the home screen of the 3DS. We're going to go back over to Pokemon White version 2, and we're going to see if I can get that paralyzed heal from Hugh again. Okay, so the game is booting up right now, and we're on this screen, and we're on the title screen. White version 2, and we're going in. Continue. Winter. Okay, good sign. If I go up right now and I get that paralyzed heal, I'm going to cry. That's an encounter. It's an Azurill. Dude, chat, imagine if that was a live shiny. I think I'd lose my mind. I have a Snivy named Requise, chat. I have a Snivy named Requise. Oh! I got the paralyzed heal! I'm so happy right now. Now, okay, so we managed to back up the save data. I'm going to be a little greedy right now and try and put the cartridge into the SD card. That way I can load the game without having it inserted. Moving back into the menu, I think what I need is the NDS forwarder, actually, the thing with the whale icon. And it's not on my home screen, but I think we're going to find that in the homebrew launcher. This is what I'm looking for. The NDS forwarder generator creates NDS forwarders on the home menu by Randall Hoffman. So I couldn't find anything on the wiki, so I found a YouTube video from SMK96 Gaming as to how to actually put the cartridge onto the home screen here. And I trust him because he has a ton of games on his home screen. So he was putting ROM files directly on the SD card. Because I dumped mine through God mode, I had to navigate to the God mode folder instead. So we're in GM9 right now, and if I go to out, Pokemon White 2.nds, do you wish to install this? Yes. Install complete. So now we're going to go back to the home menu, and there it is. There it is, chat. I see it, Pokemon White version 2. So I'm going to take out White version 2 from my game, from my 3DS's cartridge slot, right? There's nothing in there. Absolutely nothing in there. And so now we're going to go over to White version 2, unwrap, and there it is. So now if I activate this, we're going to see what happens because we're not done yet. I need to see if this puts me in where I was, or do I need to start a new game, or what? Let's see. Creating pagefile.sys. Please wait. What do you mean by that? Because I have a save file already on here. Creating a RAM dump. So I don't know what's happening right now, but hopefully I'm going to be able to navigate it by myself. Okay, Pokemon White 2 is activating. It's activating. It's booting up. And White version 2. Is my save file on here? It is not. I would need to start a new game. Okay, here's what I'm going to do next. So we're going to hit the home button. We're going to go back to the Twilight menu. And we're going to go back to... Wait a minute. I think I have 2 different files dumped right now. Oh, shit. Wait a minute, chat. I think I have 2 different versions of Pokemon White 2 right now. It's kind of funny. One that I can activate through God mode that the NDS forwarder put on my home menu, and one that has the save files backed up on the NDS Twilight menu. So we're going to see if I can navigate to the Twilight menu and move that over to the God mode 9 saves. Let's see. So now I'm going to see if I can move my save file from the cartridge into the dumped version and then continue playing from there. And then if I can maybe move that save file from the dumped version back into the cartridge if I want to play it somewhere else. Let's see. I think Checkpoint was the save manager. Let's see. So right now it found Pokemon White 2 and it says cartridge. Inside of Checkpoint, it says cartridge. Progress correctly saved to disk. Now, all that being said, the backed up save file should still be on there. So I think I should be able to take out the cartridge like so. Right, cartridge is out, and then let's go back into the checkpoint save manager and see if it can read the I know that checkpoint created a backup save. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn my 3DS off, and I'm gonna put the SD card back into the computer and see if I can manually navigate the folders to put the save file from checkpoint that took it off of the cartridge into the GM9 dump. So this is the moment of truth. This is absolutely the moment of truth. Chat. I might have just bricked the 3DS. It's not turning back on. So I'm currently in the Discord trying to figure out if I bricked my 3DS or not. While that's happening, how about you leave a like, chat? Miracle! The 3DS is not bricked. I took the SD card out and it booted okay. Now, I'm gonna ask the Discord another question. How do I get the save file from the cartridge that was backed up through checkpoint onto the one that was backed up, dumped, excuse me, through GM9? After multiple hours, I made a little bit of progress. I have managed to put in a new theme for my Nintendo 3DS. That's Origins, and I don't know how much of Avenged Sevenfold's Shepherd of Fire I can play, but probably not that much. I have managed to do what I aimed to do, but with Pokemon Sun. But I think I know how to do it with a DS game now. Right here, as you can see, this is Pokemon Sun on the home screen. I can guarantee you it boots up into my cartridge save file. Now, the problem is I need to do the same thing with Pokemon White 2. Firstly, I'm going to go into FBI. And then from FBI, I am going to go into the SD card. I'm going to go into GM9. We're going to go to Out. We're going to go to Pokemon White 2.nds. We're going to select this. We are going to copy this, and we are going to paste that into the ROMs folder in NDS. And it says place NDS ROMs here. And I know that you cannot see anything, which is a pain in the butt. Place NDS ROMs here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into paste. Yes. My theory is that if I put the save into the save folder that's already here, we'll be able to get back to where we were. And so now that that was completed, I went to the checkpoint folder that has the Pokemon White 2 save file, and we're going to take it back over to NDS saves. It says place NDS save files here. So what we're going to do is place NDS saves here. We're going to go in and paste it. Yes. Beautiful. And so now we're going to go back home and we're going to open up the homebrew launcher. Oh, okay. Here we go. Had me scared for a second. We're going to go back to NDS forwarder generator. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to ROMs, NDS, Pokemon White 2. Yes. Install this. Install complete. Go back home. New software out of the home menu. Unwrap it. If this works, I'm going to flip over the moon. Here we go, chat. Here we go. Okay. Creating save file. I don't like that. I don't like it creating a save file. There's no reason for you to create a save file. There's already one. No. Chat, I gotta keep it a buck. I think it crashed, so we're gonna restart it. It needs to open up at least once for it to appear on checkpoint in the first place. Now that we opened it, there should be data for it. And we are gonna refresh it. We're gonna see Pokemon Sun. And there's no White version 2. That's depressing. Chad, I think I fucking did it. I think I fucking did it. What I did, I went to FBI and I just renamed the save file to whatever the save file that was generated was. Let's see if it works. White version 2. Please. Oh! Ah! 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 Yes! So now, the game is not inserted, right? The game is not inserted. So now, if I walk up and I get a paralyzed heal, I'm a fucking goat. I am the fucking goat. Now I just gotta do this for every fucking DS game that I own, but I am the fucking GOAT. And so, is it really that easy to mod your 3DS? Yes. It really, really is. It's the next day now, and I've had some time to tinker with my 3DS, and I've come to report some of my findings. If you're looking for a more streamlined way to do what I did, which is take your childhood game, make it digital, and be able to play your childhood game save file as well as maneuver between those save files, here's what to do. At least this is the most streamlined, easiest version that I've found of doing it. As you're booting up your game, go into God Mode 9. Scroll down to the game cartridge section, and you're going to see the NDS file. The trim.nds file is also there. To make this as streamlined as possible, we are going to go with the original non-trim file, the .nds file. Back that up by copying it into the gm9 out folder, as well as the .saf file. After that, in God Mode, navigate to the gm9 folder inside of the SD card, go to the out folder, and move those files that you just copied into the ROMs, NDS, as well as ROMs, NDS saves folder, respectively. The game's file name, as well as the save, have to be the exact same for them to register to each other. And this is the reason why we don't use the trim file, because you'd have to rename the .saf file to go with the .trim file. Otherwise, your save is not going to load on the copy you just made. After that, go to the NDS forwarder generator, the little whale icon that you can access through the homebrew menu, and then forward the NDS ROM that you just put into the ROMs folder to your home screen. Now, you'll be able to play your childhood game as well as your childhood save file from the cartridge digitally. Now, Mateo, I want to play a different save file. I got you covered. I recommend doing this in FBI. Make a saves backup folder. In the SD card, make an alternative saves backup folder, and in that folder, organize those folders by the game that you're trying to make different files for, like Pokemon, for example. I have HGSS as well as White 2 for my purposes. In FBI, you're going to want to go to the ROMs NDS saves folder and copy your save to your new folder that you just made and are keeping these backups, and then rename that copy in the saves backup folder to something so that you know what it is. And then because you have that save backed up somewhere else, you can just start a new game, and then if you want to switch back, take that new file you just made, put it in that saves backup folder, call it something else so that you know what it is, and then rename that original file to something that the game can read. Because remember, the names have to match and be exact for them to sync with each other. And that's specifically for Nintendo DS games. It becomes a lot easier if you're working with the 3DS, because the 3DS already has apps like Checkpoint built in to make this really easy. It's gonna be a similar process. For my example, I use Sonic Generations, but I did this with all of my Pokemon games. And what you do is you start in God Mode 9 again by holding start and turning on the power button, going down to the game cartridge, and then clicking on the trim.3ds file. If you're wondering what the difference between the trim and the full ROM is, basically, Nintendo, when they were making their cartridges, they had options of 1, 2, and 4 gigabytes. If your game was 3 gigabytes, you'd still have to get the 4 gigabyte cartridge, but they had to max it out. And they put in a bunch of trash data in that 3 gigabyte ROM to fill up that 4 gigabyte cartridge. Basically, the trim file eviscerates that trash data and just keeps the game. This way you can put more stuff onto your SD card. Anyway, trim.3ds file, and then go to the NDSC and then copy image. I have it being followed on the screen. You could also find this on the 3DS hacks guide. They'll do a lot better job of explaining this. Once you've dumped your game through God mode like that, go into your 3DS, activate the game at least once. This way, Checkpoint can actually read it. And then while your original cartridge is still inserted, go into Checkpoint, back up your cartridge save, and you can tell the difference because there is a little slot that says media type, cartridge, and SD card. You want to go back up your cartridge save and then restore it on the SD card save. There's going to be 2 icons for the game whenever you're doing this. And there you go. You restored your original Pokemon file. In this case, it's my Sonic Generations file into a digital version of the game that I can take anywhere with me. Now, this becomes a little more complicated if you're working with things like Virtual Console, as well as Pokemon Bank. If you want to use the PKSM, Pokemon Storage Manager, there's a little bit of wiggle room there as well. It'll be able to pick up the digital 3DS copies fine. You just have to actually locate your Gen 4 and Gen 5 games in PKSM. That way, that software can read those save files and know where they are because it's not going to be where it typically checks. That, as well as I haven't done Gen 1, 2, and 3 yet, but I know that there's a way to do those. And yes, I put all of the Gen 3 games onto my 3DS by just scanning some QR codes. I don't know if it's illegal, but there are QR codes that exist somewhere that if you accidentally scan them, they're gonna put the games into your possession illegally. That, and I don't know if I could talk about this resource that has green bags as an icon, but if you know, you know. But if you ever do need help with this, visit the Discord server as well as the Reddit page. There are people who are on there like 24/7 monitoring this stuff. I do want to put out a forewarning if you're going to be using a Japanese 3DS like myself and you look forward to using Pokemon Bank, don't create a Nintendo Network ID on that 3DS until you do a region transfer, which is a whole nother process that takes another like 20 minutes. It's not too bad, but transfer your region to be wherever you plan on playing your 3DS, because as it is right now, I cannot connect to the Japanese eShop. I had to update all of my 3DS games, and to do so, I went to the little green bag application, and they had a very, very easy way of just updating all of your games and adding any potential DLC at the same time. But do I recommend modding your 3DS even if you only have one? Absolutely. Especially if it's a 3DS that still has access to stuff like the eShop. You're not going to be banned off the eShop, number one, because Nintendo's not monitoring it anymore. And number two, custom firmware has been around forever, and it hasn't been a problem. If you have an old vanilla 3DS and you mod it and put custom firmware on it and put digital copies of Pokemon 3DS games on there, you will be able to use Pokemon Bank with all of those. My issue stems from the fact that I'm working with a Japanese eShop. I can't do that. Either I can do whatever I need to on my Japanese 3DS, put it onto the cartridge, and then put that cartridge in my old vanilla 3DS, and then use Pokemon Bank from there, or I just have to do a region change on my Japanese 3DS. Either way, I don't foresee that being any sort of issue right now. Once I start wanting to migrate stuff to Pokemon Home, then we'll see. But as it stands right now, my Shiny Dex is in pretty good condition. I don't have a reason to start migrating stuff to the Switch games quite yet. But yeah, it's that easy. This thing rocks. These games hold up. Don't take any of my word as gospel. This is meant to be entertaining more than anything. Don't follow this as a guide, but in case you're lost and are looking to do something similar that I wanted to do, there's not that many guides for that out there on the internet, except for I did see a Reddit thread detailing how to play every single Pokemon game, Gens 1 through 7, have them all interconnected. Probably a better idea to go through that, because I wanted to take my original cartridges and go that route. I went a little more convoluted, but follow that guide instead. It probably details everything that I did just a lot easier. But thanks for watching. I'm going to go see how Pokemon Heart Gold holds up. And no, I'm not going to be sitting there soft resetting for a shiny because I hunted all those in Scarlet. Nah, I'm kidding. RNG manipulated a bunch of eggs back in the day. You don't know me.